This is my super thick and cozy crochet Buffalo Plaid blanket, made using Bernat blanket color pooling yarn in the Buffalo Plaid color. There's a link to the free pattern in the description below. The pattern is deceptively easy. I had a lot of trouble with it, so I thought I'd show you how I figured it out. So color pooling yarn is alternating sections of red, well, in this case red because it's red and black, red and black. You need to do 15 single crochets in each color. And it's just a matter of tension and size of single crochet, but you can see that the red sections in this case are a little bit shorter than the black sections. So I need to make my red stitches a little tighter and my black stitches a little looser to get the same number of stitches. You could change hooks, but I find changing hooks harder than just loosening and tightening. I needed to be able to see where I was as I went so I didn't lose my place. So I made a graph. I made one square for every stitch of the foundation row. The red stitches are in red squares and the black stitches are black squares. I did about 15 rows or so to make a complete pattern repeat. The little numbers at the ends of the rows are how many stitches are left. Okay, so here we go. We're going to make a slip knot and start. Okay, so for sake of efficiency, I'm not going to chain all 90 that they suggest in the instructions. I'm just going to chain 30. So we're going to start. And then I like to mark my first chain. So I'm going to mark my first chain, because I always have a hard time figuring out the first chain. So 2. Now make your chains 3 nice and big. Oops, not that big. 6. 29 and 30. Okay. I can't emphasize enough how important the counting is. You really need to make sure that you have the right number of chains and the right number of stitches on this first row, because if you don't get the first row right, nothing is going to work right. Okay, so now I like to do my stitches in the back bump, but you can do it in the front if you choose. It doesn't really matter. But we're going to skip the first chain and go into the second chain, and we're going to make 1 single crochet in this color that you happen to still have on your hook, so red. And then of course I'm going to mark my stitch, because I am terrible at finding my beginning and ending stitches, and lock that over. Now this is only just ridiculous luck that the black started after the 1 single crochet. The first try worked out perfectly, but I didn't want to show you perfectly, so I redid it, and here I am at the end of my chain. I have single crocheted in the color A, they call it in the instructions, into the second chain from the hook, and now you can see that I still have a lot of black left, but I don't want the black. I want to start with red at this point. So what I'm going to do is just pull all that remaining color to the side, and then I'm going to yarn over with my new color. Make sure you get it right there at the beginning. Yarn over and make my next stitch in the next color. And then you're going to continue doing 15 single crochets in that next color. Now this section here where you're doing the single crochets is really important that you're getting 15 of them. I gotta do it in the right place here. Back bumps I was doing. In each color. And it's going to take a little fiddling, which is why this first row is so hard and so important, is that it's hard to judge how big to make your stitches.
So if you play with this a little bit before you start, you know, the swatching, everybody hates swatching, but it will really help you figure out how tight your tension needs to be to make your stitches come out to 15. And you're going to end up ripping them out and starting over. But you just get your in there. It also helps to play a little bit with this yarn, because if you haven't used it before, and I hadn't used it before I started this project, it's very fuzzy and it's really hard to see the stitches and the loops, and so looking at it a lot before I finally got it right helped. Now, because I am not a very good multitasker, I have not been counting while I have been making these single crochets. So I will have to go back and count and see how many I made. I've never counted to 15 so many times in my life. Okay. So this is tricky too, because these are not easy to count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Did I do 16? Okay, this was the first stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Looks like 14. Okay, so I'll have to go back and tighten it up just a little bit to get 15. 1, 2, 3. Can I eke one more out of there? Come on, we can do it. Yes. Okay. With the miracle of modern editing, we now have 1 single crochet in black and 15 single crochets in red. And then the black is on the hook. You're just going to keep going 15 black, 15 red, 15 black until you get to your last section. So here I am going to start the last section. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and you're going to end up with 13 single crochets on this first row in your color that you did that very first single crochet. Then you're going to turn, and this pattern instructs no chains, which is really unusual, but to keep the color count, you're going to continue your color. Now I did 13, so I'm going to do 14, and I'd like to mark that first stitch, if I can do it without dropping my hook. Sure. Okay, so that was number 14, and this is going to be number 15. Now, of course, it's supposed to have used up the yarn, so what I'm going to have to do is go back, make these bigger, turn the corner. But you're going to continue your 15 count on this side. So 13, 14, 15, and that should end. And then this whole row, you're just going to continue doing 15 red, 15 black, 15 red, 15 black, until you get to the end.
So the technique of making this blanket, you need to make 15 single crochets in each color. So I've just finished up 15 black, and I am at this point on my chart. I'm right here, I've just finished the black. I'm going in this direction. So I have 15 red to go before I get to the end, and I'll show you how the end works. So we need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and I'll show you how I help keep track of myself. Okay, I'm on the 12th stitch, and I've just finished the red, which is right here. I have 13, 14, 15 to go that are going to go into black stitches. That helps me know that I'm on track. So 13, 14, and we cross our fingers, 15, and not so much. So what I'm going to have to do is go back, take some out, and make them a little bit bigger. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll make them a little bigger. 8, 9, 10, 11. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, it's almost there, but you see how this is still red? I want my last stitch to have black on the top instead of the red, so I have to go back again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and make those a little bit bigger. That's the tedious part of this, is it's constantly adjusting. So we're going to make these a little bit bigger. There. Okay, we came up with some black on the top. So now I'm going to finish my row. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is why I always mark my first stitch, so I can always find this last stitch. Sometimes with this very fuzzy yarn it's hard, so I go right in there, and that is stitch number 5. And you can see on my chart I should have ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. So now I'm going to turn, and I'm just going to go up to the next, because you have to still do 15 stitches in black, but 5 are going to be on this side and 10 are going to be on the other side. So I'm going to quick turn. Here we go. A big turn here. All right. My blanket is nearly done, so it's gotten a little, unwieldy. So now I am going to crochet this direction, that way, but my chart is this way, so you just have to go with it. So I'm going to know that I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black into black, and then I'm going to be going into red for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's how I'm going to know that I have done the correct number of stitches. Here we go. You go into the same stitch. There's no chaining or anything in this pattern, which is kind of unusual. So I've got 1, and this is how I like to mark my stitch. I'm just going to go in there and grab those 2 loops that are on the hook, well, the 2 legs. snap it, and then finish my stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This may look red, but it's actually black because you can see the legs of it over there are black. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, and that's how many I needed to do on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, plus that 5 is 15. And now I start my next 15. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and this is the 5 thing, so the last 5 are going to go into black stitches. 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Ooh, it's so exciting when it actually works out the first time. And then you just keep going. 15, 15, 15, 15, 15.
Was it worth it? Yes. I've never crocheted so many stitches and ripped so many stitches in my crochet life, but it is a great blanket and my husband loves it. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel and there'll be more crochet videos coming along. Thanks for watching!